Chucky-sa, the angel of death awaits you.
Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues and the Batman universe, as I have a little bit of fun there. We are taking a look at this next series of the Batman animated series line. Of course, it is Mask of the Phantasm. And they released, I believe I said 7 figures. I'm trying to look for my checklist as I don't see it beside me. But I believe approximately 7 figures from the line, and I have 6 of the 7 figures that were released. One is a straight-up repaint of this guy here. So I didn't pick him up all the exact same accessories. So I thought, I don't need the exact same figure, so I passed on it. But I thought this was a really cool, little mini line inside of the normal Batman animated series line. And this movie came out in 1993, I believe, as I have the DVD here. Should have been reading this before I went on camera. The DVD was produced in 2005, but yes, it came out during the first season of the animated series. And I think it was such a great movie, and this came out Christmas, Christmas of 2002, I believe, if I remember correctly, and we saw it the day after Christmas, and there were 3 of us in the theater. It was some other dude and my girlfriend at the time, and myself. So it was kind of odd being in a movie theater opening weekend of a Batman movie that was, granted, was animated. But it, I think at one point they were just going to do it straight to DVD or VHS back in the day, or they were just going to break it up over the course of the animated series, and they decided to do it as a full-blown movie, and I thought that was really cool. Not a lot of people got a chance to see this in the theater, and I feel kind of lucky that I still have my ticket stub, if you can believe that or not. It's inside of the soundtrack for the movie. I just decided to put it in there. After we saw the film, we went to, I think, a record store, and I bought the soundtrack of the movie, which I love the soundtrack immensely. It has Tia Carrere, if you remember her from Wayne's World. She has a song on there it's in the end credits of the movie that we both really liked at the time. So it was really good. So a little enough about that. This is the Phantasm. The first figure we're going to take a look at, and I'm just going to kind of do these in some type of a random order here. And I thought it'd be kind of fitting to start with the Phantasm first. And right away, the Phantasm looks a little bit familiar in stance to another figure. As you can see, they just inverted Catwoman's stance the opposite direction on the Phantasm figure. Which the Phantasm stands a heck of a lot better than what Catwoman does, because Catwoman, as you can see, she's wobbly right there. If we tap the table a little bit, these two are going to fall right over. And that's something that has always kind of bothered me when they would pre-pose figures. I think I've said it in Catwoman's figure review, that she is shorter than she actually needs to be. If her legs were standing normal, she would be a much taller figure, as the Phantasm would also. So I'll pull Catwoman out of the way here. But I do like the Phantasm figure a lot. They did a very good representation of how the Phantasm looks in the film. Of course, it's got its gauntlet, knife, scythe type thing. They gave the Phantasm a gun in this, which I don't entirely know why, because the Phantasm doesn't use a gun. So sometimes I would take my Mr. Freeze that we just recently reviewed, and I would take off the backpack, and I would give this to Mr. Freeze, because I would assume this is more of a Mr. Freeze gun than Phantasm, but nonetheless they gave the Phantasm an accessory. Normally, I mean, this is a decent size. I wouldn't pose the Phantasm with it, because this is really the only accessory that the Phantasm does come with. So you see the head will come off here, so we can reveal who the Phantasm is, which all of you out there know who the Phantasm is. But a nice rubber gauntlet here that can slide into the Phantasm's hand. So it's designed for this hand specifically, just because of the, high five hand. Hey, what's up? All right. The high five hand here. And it does have the chopping mechanism. Kind of nice tip to the hat to the Superpowers day. It's kind of like Robin. But, so you can get this nice little chopping motion here. Again, a nice cloth cape that does, as attached to the back of the Phantasm's hood. So we'll take off the, whatever you want to call this thing is, and we'll review who the Phantasm is, and it's Andrea Beaumont. Andrea Beaumont, not the Babe, as the Joker has said in the film. So we'll get her standing back up. Now, she's another one of those without her cloak there. She is really hard to stand. Catwoman, of course, is the same way. As you could tell, that is basically the same body type, which Miss Beaumont here is actually a little bit shorter than what Catwoman is. Let's get a little bit closer on these two here. So she's a little bit shorter than Catwoman. Again, if there was a way to do it where you could bend the legs and get her standing up, she would be much taller. So there's Batman for comparison. So, in the movie, of course, Andrea's shorter, but when they show us the Phantasm, they make Phantasm look a little bit taller. Let's move Catwoman out of the way. So if you have the two paired up, she is still rather small. So I think that's a little misleading that I think they should have had her not crouch. She probably would have been a little bit taller. But, hey, we got a Phantasm figure. What are the odds that we're going to get a Batman animated series Phantasm figure from the line? So it's got the standard 5 points of articulation. Supposedly, we've got the arms. This arm will move around, but it's got a clicking motion. You can see that her arm is kind of separated here a little bit, and it's been that way since day one of me having the figure. I think that's just due to the, chopping feature. Legs do go up. Now, she doesn't get in the whole spread eagle that Catwoman and some of the other ones do, so she can sit, and it actually looks like she's more in a seated type position with her, knees bent here. But again, like Poison Ivy, she should have another point of articulation being her head, but the way her hair is sculpted over here, you're not going to get that out of the figure. So we're back to 4 points of articulation, almost 3 because of this arm. You can get it in different positions, but it clicks and locks, and as old as this figure is, I'm really kind of scared to do that. The stamp on her back leg is 1994. So again, I think the movie was out in the Christmas of 2000, geez, Rob, sure it was, of 1993. And then, of course, we get into January, it's 1994, and then that's when these figures came out, is that following January. So I think they got a good representation of her face, and I think she looks very much like this. It would have been nice to have an alternate Andrea Beaumont figure. You can kind of go with the Bruce Wayne look, but I think this is still very cool. And the final scene where she's kind of fighting with the Joker and Batman, her cowl, if you will, is off, and she's kind of fighting, with her gauntlet type of thing here. I think it's still a really nice figure, and who would have thought from an animated movie that I would have almost assumed that they would have maybe glossed over this, but they made 7 figures for the Mask of the Phantasm. I think is really pretty cool. So we'll put this is how I always have her on my shelf, obviously, is with the Phantasm mask. I just think it looks really cool, and thought it'd be kind of fitting to have the Phantasm be the first figure that we review here for my little Mask of the Phantasm. So the title of it will probably say BTAS, Mask of the Phantasm, kind of abbreviated there. So I'll probably actually have two counters going on where it says Batman the Animated Series, then the number of it, and then Mask of the Phantasm, and then that number. I haven't decided. I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it. So some people that I was telling that I was doing this, some people didn't know that the Mask of the Phantasm figures were out, because they were only out just for that brief little bit while the movie was out. And I think if the movie would have come out and had a little bit more publicity behind it, I think they were kind of hopefully going to be able to cash in on Christmas Day moviegoers, but I think this might have been better as a summer type of movie. And they were kind of trying to gear it for kids, but thought it was kind of weird that the second day that it was released, we were the only 3 people in the theater, and it was a 4 o'clock showing, if I remember correctly. So, today we've been taking a look at the Phantasm from the Batman animated series Mask of the Phantasm line. So, as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the Batman universe signing off saying we will see you guys next time.